Hello viewers, I'm SB and welcome back to Tangledeep, Dawn of Dragons, where we're gonna try this one more time. Probably like one or two more times. I'm frustrated by the amount of dying to sudden burst damage, seemingly unavoidable burst damage, and yeah, I know it's avoidable in the sense that I could have not been there, but you know what I mean. Like, the combat just kinda spirals out of control sometimes. So I thought, with this character, maybe take defense more seriously. Maybe fighting at ranged and doing a lot of damage is not enough. So, here's where we're at with this one. I did the same thing as last time where I played the opening chapter of the game real fast through here, because nobody needs to see me fight bandits on floor 5 again. Ever again. And I did that as the Gambler. The Gambler has a couple of really interesting skills here. This one's not really interesting. This is fine. Wild cards is fine. Every time you crit, or sometimes when you kill a monster, you draw a card, and it's like a poker card. And then you can press the button to play your current hand. You can see right here, we have a hand of absolute garbage. When we press the button here, it's just going to throw the cards at an enemy. And this is a fairly common hand, and when you do this, it does lightning damage to that enemy. Obviously, we were talking about how sources of lightning damage get really valuable as the game goes on, so I'm pretty happy with that. And some of the effects, if you actually do manage to put together a decent hand, are pretty powerful. If you're a gambler, one of the class passives that you unlock is that your poker hands get better. You stop drawing cards below 9, I think, and basically the skill's a little bit more impressive if you remain a gambler. We have other places to be, so I didn't want to stick with that. Then we also grabbed Roll the Bones. You can kind of see a theme here. Also, the class name is Gambler, so you probably had some idea what's going on. This just rolls some dice and picks a result from a table. Some of these are okay. Honestly, Roll the Bones might be a thing that doesn't stay on our bar. It's just gonna a lot of the time it's just gonna randomly do a small amount of damage to an enemy, or give us a buff to our crit chance. Double Down is a very powerful skill. It costs 10% of our max HP, and then within the next 3 turns take damage equal to 10% of our max HP, we explode and deal what you can see as just a huge amount of fire damage to enemies nearby. I like Double Down a lot. Even though it does cost health, and it's a thing you usually use in a situation where you're in danger, it's so much damage. Hot Streak is the Gambler movement ability. I'll show you here. It lets you, can I activate it in town? Yeah, okay, so it lets you project like a fork of directions out. We will run along one of these 3 lines randomly and leave a bunch of fire behind us. The fire does pretty good weapon power scaling damage. Yeah, and it sits out there for a couple of turns and hurts the enemies in it. Blood Debts is a fantastic survival skill. You gain health immediately equal to 50% of your max HP, but then you lose 52.5% of your max HP over the next 9 turns. Really, really good for giving your food some time to work, just like buying yourself a second to breathe. And then also, I grabbed both of the passives from Gambler. Cheat Death does exactly what it says here. When you would die, there's a 50-50 chance you will instead not die, and also all your negative status effects will end. It's not great, but I think we're still probably going to keep it in one of our passive slots. And then this one is a 1 in 3 chance that when eating food, you don't get the full debuff. I'm not 100% sure whether we're going to keep this one in, because there are some other support abilities that we want. For example, Panthox Skin. 20% of the average of all your elemental resistances is added to your physical resist. This is how I think we're going to keep our physical resist nice and high, while actually using medium armor instead of heavy, so that we can take advantage of the medium armor mastery, which will give us a whole bunch of extra dodge, because we are going for a swiftness build on this character. I still want to be fighting enemies at range, but I wanted to have access to more options that aren't just about dealing damage in different ways. So, we came up starting as a Gambler, we're going through Wild Child, and we'll talk about this in a second, and we're going to end up as the Hunter class, the Bow and Arrow class, which I think is a very powerful class in general, and also Swiftness is it's a stat we haven't really gotten to use yet with our other characters, so I thought this would be a nice change up. So, before we get to that stuff, though, let's talk about Wild Child. Wild Child's a pretty weird class. It doesn't actually say it on here. Okay. Here, the Tier 1 passive bonus. This is where it is. We have a chance to learn skills from monsters. Here's how this works. It sounds really cool, right? Like when you see a monster do a skill, you might learn a skill. In practice, it's actually a very, very small number of monsters that have things you can learn from them. So if you go over here to your Monster Pedia, which keeps track of the stats on all of the enemies that you have faced, you can see if we, like here. If we mouse over some enemies, they will have abilities that are that have asterisks around them and are green. Those are abilities where if we watch them do it, we learn a similar thing. So, I was looking at the Monsterpedia here, paging through, trying to figure out what abilities looked neat. And I think what I've decided is that we're not going to learn anything interesting from enemies this early in the dungeon. I wanted to go Wild Child right now because I want to pick up that Panthox defense skill, but I think it's really going to be valuable for us to be the Wild Child when we get up to the robot floors, because a number of the robot enemies have interesting stuff, like Mortar Fire is a really powerful explosive. I would love to be able to do Mortar Fire. These guys will teach us Neutralize, which I'm not even 100% sure what it does. And then also one of the electric enemies, these guys can teach us a skill called Thunderstorm, which you have to imagine does lightning damage, so I'd like that as well. So basically, I think we're going to stay Wild Child just long enough to get our passive, then we'll move over to Hunter, and then we'll switch back to Wild Child when we get to the robot floors to try to learn stuff from the robots. That's not an entirely efficient way of doing things, but the good news is the extra cost is all in gold, and we have effectively infinite gold, so who cares? So, with that said, without further ado, let's go adventuring. Also, let's figure out if I harvested our trees recently. I did. Okay, let's go adventuring. Hey, rumor lady, you got any rumors for me? Defeat Failbot the Guardian Steward in the Fungal Caves? Yeah, sure. I don't think that reward is any good at all, but we may as well. We're headed there anyway. Also, apparently I did not find a thing in Riverstone Waterway 5? Okay, I mean, there's job points attached to that. I'll take it. And Sakama the Crabbid, also Fungal Caves. Okay, well, we know which way we're going from the branch, but first, I think we're going down to Riverstone Waterway 5. I think the best way to do this is going to be to go to the branching meadow and go down. Okay, stairs up to the Bandit Waterworks. Ooh, apparently I missed some boxes here. There's nothing in them. We'll totally take a look at that Bandit thing, eventually. I think another part of us surviving here is going to be some amount of tedious grinding. Like, just go into things exclusively when you over-level them. Okay, apparently I didn't actually do this floor. You know what, I came up through the other side of the early area. I came up through Cedar, the Cedar Caverns. So, let's talk about our equipment a little bit. We have this longbow of familiars and acid. It's not amazing, but it's fine. It has a range of 4. It does poison damage. You know, it's okay. It is paired with, when you are using a bow, you can benefit from a quiver in your offhand. So quivers give you bonus charge time when attacking with bows, and then also they, are a place where you can have more magic attributes. So we do 15% more damage with our attack at max range. We do 8% more damage with our attack with our ranged attack all the time. And then also beasts. A lot of enemies are beasts. Whatever. We'll get them. And then the rest of our equipment's not particularly interesting or special. We have the cat ear hairband again because it has 15 swiftness on it. These panpipes also have a bunch of swiftness. Not doing anything particularly fancy here just yet. Please don't be invisible at me. It's very annoying. You know what? We're gonna go over here and we're gonna play a wild card on him. But that was not very much damage, was it? How about we roll the bones? I rolled a 2 and a 5 and got Lucky Dodger. Greatly improved chance to parry and block and stuff. Whereas, okay, that's pretty greatly improved. I do wish that in general, stuff that says things like greatly improved would instead just tell you the numbers. Got ourselves a 10 of clubs. So we're going to want to increase our crit rate. Swiftness does not increase your likelihood to critically hit, and in addition to the fact that critically hitting gives us cards, it also has some value in the ranger skill set. I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm pretty bummed out about getting extra dodging there. That's really not what I was looking for. Also, it'd be cool if our pet was like over here and playing the game with us. I mean, not much for it. I'll just step over here and then shoot you a bunch. Where are you going? Oh, you know what? My pet's on passive. Because I was trying to, I was testing something here. Right, get in here and help me. What is going on with him? Okay, sometimes you roll double sixes and get a full heal on your dice. So I don't know, maybe the dice skill does stay on the bar. That's pretty handy. Okay, well. We are missing out on skills a little bit, I guess, by having our pet be active. Hold on, when we see a Panthox or like a Salamander or something, I'll repassive him. We may as well try to learn some stuff, right? It is nice to have 4 attack range. That's awfully powerful. Okay, here we go. So this is the person who wants coffee. Yeah, she'll give you celestial medicine in exchange for coffee. We do not have any coffee. Okay, that was not worth all the damage, in case you were wondering. And then, in the interest of doing a little bit more grindy play and over-leveling stuff, I suppose let's at least finish the floor. Who knows what kinds of useful things we might find. Alright, I'm just going to let him run away. He'll come back to us once he feels like being visible. Okay, so as you can see, I pumped swiftness a little bit. Remember that we're also wearing a huge amount of swiftness on our gear, so it's not like I put all these points in here. We still do need our defenses. I think I'm going to take a point of discipline here. Now, let's take a little bit more swiftness. Swiftness is really valuable. And also, we're trying to get to 750 job points before we switch off to our 3rd class. I really, really love the class mixing stuff, and it's possible that I tend to overdo it. It's possible that you should really just stick to like 2, because we always end up having way too many abilities to actually use them all. But like, just combining the classes into super classes is my favorite part of this game's design by a huge margin, and you can't stop me from doing it. Even if it is sometimes terrible. Alright, so we just got high card again. Here, eat lightning. There we go. That was a 125 damage hit. Why can I not move? So I mean, like, I know I was rooted, but I was pressing a button there, and it wasn't even attempting to escape the root. Oh, hey, we learned a thing. You have learned Frog Hop. Leap to target tile briefly gives you reactive health regeneration if struck by a strong attack. So it's a movement ability that gives us a 7-turn buff that heals us for 3% of our max health if we get hit for 10% of our max health. You know, honestly, that seems pretty okay. In my opinion, a fair number of the skills you can learn from monsters are pretty unexciting. Wow, that was fast. I mean, our pet's way overpowered. Okay, I'm gonna turn our pet's abilities and attack off for a second here. Let's see if we can bait this thing into doing that that Panthox claw attack that they do. So we'll just try to kill these ones. Try not to kill the real guy. Man. It's not making it easy, though. Were you planning to attack me ever? Okay. There we go. We got him. So it says that every time you... we're going to roll some dice here. Lucky Dodger, not exactly what I wanted. It says that every time you roll, or every time you see a monster perform a skill, a learnable skill, you have a chance to learn it. In my experience, that chance has got to be very close to 100%. You do learn the skill, pretty much always. Alright, so what exactly does it do? Hold on, we should look at it in here, because we'll get the numbers. Unleashes a powerful claw attack on nearby enemies after one turn, dealing much more damage if your health is low. Up to 300% bonus damage, based on missing health. Yeah, that is low. And also makes you immune to pushes and pulls. You know what, to be perfectly honest with you, becoming immune to pushes and pulls sounds great. I don't know if that's enough to keep it on the bar. Space on the bar is very limited. It's extremely exclusive. But, boy, I sure do hate getting pushed and pulled around. Alright, up to the Fungal Caves with us. There is, in fact, a lot of stuff growing in these caves. The dialogue box is not wrong. So I'm trying to keep an eye on our job points here very carefully, because I don't want to waste any job points here in the wrong class. We will be coming back to Wild Child, but frankly, Wild Child just doesn't need all that much JP because of the fact that it only has like 4 real skills. And any skill you learn from a monster, you learn for free. Got ourselves a terrible sword. Mostly taking this quest was about direction, not really the rewards. Oh, right, I charmed him. I was clicking on him like, why won't he die? Also, I can totally turn my pet back on now. I'll tell you what, if you want a really daring ending to your game, let me fight the concept of this invasive mud. It'll be a really abstract battle. So fire immune, not really a concern to us. It would be cool if he wouldn't shield himself in a way that is, like, sensible and effective. I also want to say, it's possible that I take too many Pandora's boxes. The amount of damage we took last game, in particular, I don't think 10% either way was going to matter very much, because we got hit for, like, some huge percentage of our health in a single turn. How many Pandora's boxes have I opened so far? 5. I'm going to do at least one more. Alright, 111 job points gets us where we're going. This foraging skill allows you to occasionally find restorative herbs when non-trivial enemies are defeated. It sounds pretty good. It is, in practice, only fine. And there's nothing wrong with fine, but I think we don't have enough passive slots to really keep this. Like, our support slots are already going to be full. So, I think this is our time to just jump back over to the other class. This is not the button I wanted. I wanted this button. Alright, let's go do a quick class swap. Class swap. We will come back. So we are going to Hunter, an eagle-eyed expert in dispatching enemies at range, armed with an assortment of traps. So, just for being this class, we no longer take a penalty to our bow damage in melee, which is pretty good. The Tier 2 passive bonus means that you get a lot of free turns, which is a pretty big deal, and at Tier 3 we get a pet that hopefully will be very distracting to the enemies. Percy waves his hands around slowly, and congratulations, you are now a hunter. That's all it takes. Okay, we have not advanced enough days to be getting new missions yet. So I guess let's just run around here and break stuff. You know, I did see the dungeon that almost certainly is where the slime dragon resides on my way up to Duke Dirtbeaks. I'd really like to go back and try some of that dragon stuff, but we probably have to be higher level, right? That said, I don't know how high, because we were definitely still getting torn apart in that, in what seemed to be the Bandit Dragon dungeon, even after we had left and then leveled up a bunch again. I just walked right into that. I was so eager to loot the crate. It all happened so fast, he just swept my world right out from under me. And then paralyzed me somehow? I presume it's like there's pinching involved. The Flooded Temple. So this is a little unfortunate. We cannot do the Flooded Temple thing. Yeah. So remember, she wants us to go up to the temple above, beat up all the enemies, and then do some flow-empowered plant growth up there, which we don't have a way of doing, sadly. I believe if you have the herb finding skill, and you kill an enemy such that an herb appears in the water, you do in fact get credit for completing the quest. Which is a weird thing, and a thing we totally could have done if I had cared to. Ow! Actually a very significant jump. It was like 10% of my HP at the time. That frog jump is wicked. That is definitely a big part of what killed us with the last character. Too many frogs, doing too much jumping on too much of my spinal column. And I was like, hey guys, be careful. And they were like, I'm a frog, I don't speak English, dude. Explosive, regenerating, toxic, resistant to everything except physical. Well, we don't have a physical bow. Never mind. The thing is, it's not even an issue. It's not an issue. It's under control. Alright, well, it doesn't look like there's anything else of value to be extracted here. We may as well go upstairs, even if we can't get whatever the reward is for clearing this place out correctly, we can still get the job points for clearing the topmost floor. And we're going to need a large number of job points. So glad I went out of my way to destroy a thing to get some hide armor there. I think Floricondas have an ability that we can learn, but I don't know that I want to. It's Vine Pull, and I don't see myself pulling enemies toward myself a lot with this particular build. I'm gonna go ahead and set him to not do stuff. No, never mind. I was thinking set him not to do stuff so that we can learn from the Floricondas, but I'm not that class anymore. Here's the thing, my brain's got holes in it. You have a thought and then it just like falls right through the bottom. You know, like a bucket. Like a bucket of thoughts. What has a hole in it? Wow, that was sure easy. Our pet's like okay at his job. I would say he's a solid 6 out of 10. Alright, nothing for it but to leave. I'm trying to think, are there any... There are not any skills that we're going to pick up from Hunter that will cause plants to grow. Pretty sure. So what do we have access to? Well, we have this. Fires arrows into the air and then they land in a box-shaped area. 2 turns later, it's a huge amount of damage. Scales really, really well. Grappling Hook is our movement ability. You target a wall tile and pull yourself over to it. That's a pretty good one. Shadow Stalk makes it so that for the next 3 turns, every time you shoot, you'll make a shadow that enemies like to fight. You know how I feel about enemies having extra things to target. The bear traps are for keeping enemies in place, as you might imagine. Eagle Eye is like Farsight. You cast it somewhere and you get to see that place and you get to maintain vision over it for a while. I don't think it's useful. I don't know that I've ever used it. Ice Missile is just, it's just a magic spell. It's just shoot ice at people. Triple Bolt is another straight-up electricity damage spell. Very important to have some electricity. And then Blood Tracking we've seen a bunch, actually. We had this on one of our Shara runs. It's that thing that makes... Oh, no, wait, never mind. This is not the one I was thinking of. I was thinking of the one that creates a weak spot in a particular direction. This is just a chance to track enemies. They just take plus 20% damage for 5 turns. And this Deadly Aim is the other reason I was saying that we need to make sure we push our crit chance up. Deadly Aim is super powerful. It is maybe one of the best passives. We really, really need to ride that crit rate. Unfortunately, right now, our crit rate is probably not very good. And 9%, it's not horrible, but it's not great. We should definitely try to push that up quickly as we can. For right now, let's grab Hail of Arrows, because it is actually a huge amount of damage. And then I'm going to pull... Oh, I'm not in... Right. Okay. I'm not going to pull anything. Later, we'll pull some stuff off the bar, because that Arrow Storm should really be on the front bar. It's a very good, very powerful spell. It's fairly good shooting. Alright, no days have passed. When the game tells us that time has passed is when we can go back and attempt to get a better, a new set of rumors. I mean, look, I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind a better set of rumors. The ones we got were not particularly difficult to complete, but they sure didn't have very valuable rewards. I am a little afraid that this is going to end up being a pretty safe run here. Range classes are good, broadly speaking. This seems like maybe a fun time to do a hot streak. There we go, that did approximately what I wanted it to do, except it didn't leave a fire in his space for reasons that I'm not entirely sure of. 3 of a kind gives you super haste. Yeah, sure. Activate the super haste. Extra CT per turn. Well, that could be a little more descriptive. Let's roll some dice. I confused him. No, sorry, I confused a fungal column. We slept him. I have no idea what he is doing. He's just kind of sitting there, letting me destroy him. Alright, we're going to do at least one more of these. So this is probably a good time to start boosting our elemental defense. A Lucid Orb of Thorns is probably okay. I'm not actually sure how much damage things like that reflect to enemies. Right, because Thorns is one of those things where if you get meleeed with it up, enemies take damage. It would be nice to have more numbers. In general, I'm not blaming the Tangledeep people here. In general, game developers, put more numbers in the thing. Let me know like exactly how stuff works. Give me an opportunity to do useful math. And if you're saying to yourself, well, hold on now. We don't know that all of our customers like to do math. Maybe that wouldn't be good for them. What I have to say to that is, why would you even want a customer who doesn't like math? What is the value of such a person to you? Really consider this. Alright, well, I think we're going to have a pretty uneventful... Okay, day finally changed. Let's go ahead and go back to town. I think we're going to have a pretty uneventful ride up to the second boss. I'm just, like, mashing buttons and not paying attention to where I'm walking. I keep attacking fungal columns in a way that's not beneficial to us at all. 1000 XP. Wow, that's actually a really big reward. So there's a mottled sandjaw. Yeah, we'll take that. I could do that. Give a leg of turkey to a frog in... to a bog frog in the frog bog. For garbage rewards. I'll still do it. Also, there's a fungal toad somewhere. That's not okay. What do you think he's doing? We're gonna have to step back down for that one. Okay, she doesn't have anything exciting. He always has exciting stuff. It turns out we're happy with a much larger portion of the food items than we are of the other items. Turns out most weapons are not very good, and especially weapons that are the quality that she sells. Especially not good. Alright, so we need to just go ahead and go downstairs quickly. It was the restriction on that rumor was... yeah, take no more than 913 HP of damage. Honestly, not all that likely to happen. Us taking that amount of damage, I mean. Fortunately, it's easy to get from floor to floor. And then there's a special enemy. I bet that's our guy. Oh, right, I was supposed to capture him. I just get... you know what? I get into a trance a little bit. No, wait, sorry. The thing I'm supposed to capture is on 9. I'm supposed to kill a scarred fungal toad in the flooded temple. It's not even on this floor. It's near this floor. Flooded temple. Up there. ASB, why don't you just actually read the quest text? Why don't you remember things from moment to moment? I'm telling you, man, if I could, I would. Okay, you don't probably need to stand exactly right there. We could have swapped places with her to get through, and I certainly thought about it, and then I was like, oh, whatever, we'll just walk around. But no, that was a terrible idea. We absolutely should have just pushed our way through. Like this. Get out of my way. Okay. Already forgotten the way back up. I'm a little tiny bit sleep deprived. Turns out there's been lots of stuff going on around lately. Makes it a little tough for me to stick to my quote-unquote normal sleep schedule, and I say quote-unquote there because it's not that. It's not really a schedule. It's definitely not normal. Alright, buddy. You want some turkey? He's just hanging out by this lady, constantly begging her for turkey. She has said no 100 times, but everybody knows that frogs do not respect consent, which is how you know that they are the ultimate villains. Okay, the other rumor requires me to not use my flask. I mean, we exposed the frog bog. Do we necessarily need to clear it out? You know what? Probably not, but also it's not very difficult to do, so we may as well. As far as side areas go, it's not one of the longer ones, and usually not one of the more difficult. It's not nearly on the measure of, like, the spiny maze. Okay, that's really annoying. Getting pushed around and all like that. Look, I'm contributing. Do I have a hand right now? One pair? You know what? I'll just roll the dice. Okay. Sometimes you get some nice ice darts. Yep, and doing that has opened up a set of stairs, so I assume we have to go fight the frog dragon again if we want to get the frog dragon limit. I don't think we really do. I'm sure there's got to be one that's better suited to our situation. I do not really want to be jumping in on enemies. I do not have the physical toughness to withstand this kind of thing. Okay. Oh wait, this isn't what I wanted. Shoot. I'm in the frogmire. I'm just like... again, just kinda on autopilot. You don't want to be in the frogmire. I don't want to fight the frogs. He says before attacking them. You know what? She has new rumors for us. Let's take them. There's a pet shop in Fungal Caves 9. I'll figure that out. And Fungal Caves 10 has a big chest. Oh no, buried loot. Near Fungal Caves 10. Has a big chest. It sure does. Maybe one of the biggest chests I've ever seen. A little bit like last time, we're probably going to end up just like stockpiling a ton of ingredients. Okay. Into the frog bog, but down the stairs this time. Back into the fungal caves. Yeah, these are some pretty large caves. If I ever went inside a cave system, and it was first of all this huge, and secondly there was like grass and flowers and stuff growing everywhere, I'll tell you what, I'd be out of there in a real hurry. This does not feel naturally occurring to me. This feels like the hand of man was upon it. And you know what I trust less than man? That's right, nothing! Alright, we gotta turn off your abilities so you don't accidentally kill the thing I'm trying to capture. Do I have a mallet? I just realized I don't know for sure that I have a... Okay, I do have one mallet with which to catch this thing. You know, I appreciate him stepping in and just taking the hits for me. Okay. We did it. We got him to a reasonable level of health. Now we run away from the enemies that we can hear freaking out over there. Look at that. We're geniuses. Man, maybe we should replace that Dazzle Leaf. All we're getting out of having it is stuff we're selling for gold, and we already have all of the gold, right? This monster's name is... I had to. For money. We're never going to use this guy. I hope he understands. That was really a large amount of XP. Take a little bit more discipline here. We do still need to take some strength, probably. We can't rely on Panthox skin for all of our physical defense, but... I'm more worried about discipline right now, obviously. So what do we want next? We have 576 points. I mean, the movement abilities are probably a good thing to get, and then, like... Shadow Stalk makes it hard to kill us. In a way that, frankly, is probably very annoying for the monsters. It's not exactly my primary concern. Alright, does that give me... No, okay. We do not get to immediately refill the quest log. She has some standards. So, Fungal Caves 9 has Pet Shop, Fungal Caves 10 has loot, buried loot. Giant loot box is what I was going to say, and it's absolutely true. Can you believe it? They're even getting into Tangledeep now. Surprise mechanics everywhere, as far as the eye can see. I'm going to take one more. Last one, I swear. The thing is, they're so tempting. Are you having some trouble? Are you dealing like 30 damage per hit? Probably not a great amount of damage to be doing at this level. He is remarkably tough. Oh yeah, sorry, you can... Sorry, you can defend yourself again. Poor dude just getting mauled by an angry lizard because he's afraid that if he fights back, I'll be mad at him. Not a big fan of how abusive this relationship makes me out to be. Who decided that a lobster on land needed to be a ranged enemy? I wonder if they got that from a, if it is a reference to something, or if they just thought it would be really fun to have an enemy that looks basically like a lobster also be an autocannon. And you have to hand it to them. They really committed on it. It's a goofy looking lobster and everything. Alright, I do believe this will be our place. Nope, that's Fungal Cavern 10. And I thought we had already seen... Man, am I am I spacing out that badly? That's sort of the opposite of spacing out. I'm spacing in. It's not that I missed stuff, it's that I thought I had seen stuff that we didn't see. Well, hold on now. There are stairs right by... Yeah, that's the pet shop up there. I thought we had looked at these stairs already and determined that they were the way up. Alright, a very, very small amount of XP. And then we can buy eggs from him. Do I think any of these eggs are particularly meaningful? No, not really. Again, they are mostly for the purpose of being a distraction. None of them are going to survive very long in combat. So that's the frog bog. Okay, I think we're cool now to move up to floor 10. And we're making pretty fast progress here. Obviously, having the wildly overpowered pet helps. Yeah, wow, this floor is a real pain to navigate. Unfortunately, there's just a lot of these. You know, there's a lot of floors that are all like narrow corridors in various settings. And I do appreciate the little bit of variety. But I would rather play a lot of levels that look very substantially similar than play levels, even a few levels that are substantially visually different, but all have this same basic, long, winding, narrow corridor design. Some of the danger of procedurally generating your maps, I suppose. Okay, that takes us up to the Bandit HQ, which obviously is important. I mean, we're going to do that in just a moment here, actually. I would love to fulfill the quest first. Somewhere around here are stairs upward to buried loot, which is not usually the way that buried loot works. Unless you're a truly cunning criminal and you've managed to somehow work out a way to bury your stolen booty in the ceiling of a room, then I guess you could take some stairs up to the buried treasure. You're going to be using kind of an unusual definition of buried there, though. Ow. That's why you're not supposed to do that, by the way. Okay, no, we do not have any restrictions on this particular chest. We are going to stop taking Pandora's boxes earlier this game than we did last game. Boy, there sure is a lot of floor out here. Ow! Alright, well this might be a good time to try out some of our evasion abilities. Huh, the grappling hook can't target any wall spaces? That's... I guess you can pull yourself to any empty tile. You target the tile you want to go to rather than the wall that you want to end up next to. I was misremembering how that spell worked. Oh, I'm already healing from my flask. I just took enough damage to be low again already. Well, let's not die to a random polar rattler. That would be an embarrassment I would never live down. Also, you gotta be impressed with the fortitude of the water spirit here. The dog is going absolutely nuts in the other room. I should probably go check on that. You know what? Hold on just a second. I'll be right back, because that's a lot of barking, and it's actually pretty angry-sounding barking. Okay, sorry about that. Apparently I was not correctly informed about... I thought we were done with the contractors. There are more contractors. So if you hear some banging that sounds like it's coming from above the microphone, that's what's happening. I hope that everything's going to be calm and quiet now. Anyway, where were we? We were killing stuff, right? It's Tangledeep. There's not a lot of... We don't have access to a very large number of verbs here. Oh, except we're not actually killing stuff right now. Right now, we are digging stuff. I believe the Polar Rattler does have a learnable skill, a wild child learnable skill. Probably what's going to happen here is we're going to play our way up to the robot area, and then we'll switch back to Wild Child, and we'll not just learn from those robots, but we'll go back down the floors that we've unlocked up to that point, and we'll hunt down the stuff that the monster Pedia suggests might be useful. I don't actually remember what all the monster abilities do. I mean, I'm sure I haven't even seen them all. So, it may be the case that some of the stuff we're skipping over is actually super useful. I only remember, I don't know, maybe like 4 or 5 with any like level of detail. What I do remember about those 4 or 5 is that they were not terribly exciting. It's alright, we're doing this Wild Child thing mostly for the Panthox defense, but we may as well take other abilities, since they're right there. And is the key going to be in the very last one of these that I unlock? Okay, this is the last one, so yes, I guess is the answer to that. I know, this isn't the last one. There are gaps over there on the wall. Yeah, must be in one of these then? Kind of starting to run low on shovels. Aha, got it. Oh, there's our extra glowtorch of focus. Not a very good item. We got lucky greedy splint mail. I could really use some real armor. Our armor is very bad. We should probably finish looking around here. I think that feels like the sensible thing to do, especially since we don't even have to actually fight any of the enemies. Basically just running around and getting XP and job points for free. It's a bad way of thinking about things. The fact that something doesn't cost you anything does not mean that it was free. It just means that it costs other people things. We're doing all this on the back of some very hard work by our water elemental. He's really pouring out his blood, sweat, and tears. Presumably, it's hard to tell because he's made entirely of liquids. But I imagine he's always leaving a trail everywhere, and we could imagine that trail of moisture is his blood, sweat, and tears that he is spilling in defense of our cause. Well, offense. He is spilling in offense of our cause. Okay, actually, have we completed this floor? It might be the case that there's just not anything else. I guess there's a champion up there we could go fight real quick. It's probably worth the XP. If you're wondering what that little screen shake effect was a few turns ago, that is us being hit by a critical attack. We took a critical Harrier shot from the enemy. Fortunately, Harrier shot does not do a ton of damage. So we're fine. That's very... Okay, yeah, we are going the right way. I just need to keep going south. Want to go around this hook. You know, I don't even know why I turned around. I knew he had it. It's not true, though. I do know why I turned around. Because I want the loot. Pet's not allowed to have anything. Okay. Alright, well, let's head up here and fight a boss, shall we? God, look at the attack range. It's beautiful. I am not going to put any effort at all into maintaining optimal attack range. I'm going to try to start engagements from optimal range. But if I was going to try to like dance around to make that work, I have a feeling that we'd end up wasting a lot of time and still not getting the max range bonus from our quiver all that often. Okay, we know the deal here. So, this seems like a fine time to open with a hail of arrows. And then I'm going to activate Shadowstalk here. So turning Shadowstalk on does not take a turn, it says, but sometimes when you do a thing that doesn't actually cause a game turn to pass, stuff still processes, like you saw those projectiles moved when I hit the button. I'm not sure what that's about. It's a bug. Okay, here we have a terrible, terrible hand. Unfortunately, wild cards only, or high card only affects one enemy, and it's chosen at random from enemies who are adjacent to you. So let's do roll the bones, since that'll hit everybody, assuming it does something that actually deals damage this time. Yeah, like that. Darts. Wow, that's a lot of damage. Alright, it's fine. No reason to panic. Let's frog hop. Put up our flask and then frog hop out of here, and then continue to dodge, because it turns out there's still quite a lot of garbage coming our way. Seems like a good time for some actually pretty decent food. Wait a minute. That ate the cheese wheel. I definitely was trying to... I moused over the chicken dinner, right? Well, we got lucky, and we didn't actually get our fat chance triggered, and we didn't gain the full debuff. There's a thing that this game does sometimes, where you can mouse over something, and it won't... Where even is the... There we go. Chicken dinner. Absolutely the thing I was clicking on. Yeah, sometimes you can mouse over a thing, and the game keeps your cursor on whatever your mouse was on before that for some reason. And you can fix it by just like wiggling your mouse around a little bit, but it's weird that you have to. Alright, a skill orb for elemental spirits, which is a skill we will not have. Also palm thrust, a skill we will not have. But presumably some of this other loot might be useful. Let's have a look at what we pulled in here. A Noble's Crown of Concentration and Explosions. Why, that's the finest crown I can possibly imagine. Unfortunately, probably not the right move here. It does give some pretty good defense, especially considering that Discipline is going to feed our physical defense. I don't... Maybe this is better than what we're currently wearing. It does have 11% dodge on it. Because right now our armor is... With the hide armor, you have that minimum chance. You will always have a 10% chance to dodge skills at the very least, and that is useful. I don't know. I think I'll just keep on what we have on for right now. We got a lot of things that give stats that we don't care about. Yeah, I'm gonna just stick with what we have now. It's not very good, but also. Neither is any of the stuff we picked up there. And on top of that, I'm lazy. Like, very lazy. No, I remember samurai armor being interesting. Hold on, we'll have a look at that samurai armor. It is... 2% dodge on top of the normal medium armor chance to dodge skills, plus 10% all damage. So it has slightly less dodge chance than our current armor, but it does do plus 10% all damage. You know what? I'll do that. The best defense is a good offense, except the whole thing I'm supposed to be doing with this character is taking my defense more seriously. You know what? We should probably... Hold on, let's talk to her and get her out of here. And then we should probably go back and see about, like, rumors and stuff. We might receive some direction here. Which way to go? Indeed. Rib Bog Frog is terrorizing the Stone-Hewn Halls. Go in there and get 202 job points from him. Absolutely. Discovered the Bandit Enclave from the Stone-Hewn Halls. I'll also do that. And defeat the Savage Rock Viper, you know, in the Stone-Hewn Halls. Okay, I do like it when they all work together. Common purpose like that. I just bought a thing without... I pressed enter too many times there, too quickly. So whatever that is I bought, I hope it's normal banded mail. Hey, how about this? Sell back all my unequipped common gear. Alright, fish, turkey, we don't really need the rest of this stuff. Alright, let's go do the Stone-Hewn Halls real quick here. We want Branching Vista. I think, is this... No, this is the Ancient Ruins. I always get these confused because they're both just stone buildings. I do wish that they were a little bit more differentiated the way the areas at the first branch are. Alright, this one is marginally less annoying to explore than the ancient ruins. Suppose that ought to be factored in here. We're already getting to the part of the game where it would be really nice to have some lightning damage. Alright, we're not supposed to do anything in particular here, right? Just kill this guy. He is equally resistant to everything. I am going to... What do we want to do here? Let's put up the hail of arrows. Center it right on him in the hopes that he will still be in there. Yeah, that's some pretty good damage. I'm going to take a little bit more discipline. We're going to have to start picking up strength at some point here. And then let's go ahead and take the extra efficient healing from our flask. I do hate to break up what appeared to be a lovely little conversation they were having there. You know, sure, it might have looked to a layman like they were just shooting water at each other in a desperate attempt to commit murder. But you gotta remember, they don't have mouths, so if they want to have a conversation, it's really there's only one way to do it. I imagine it works like Morse code, where when you shoot the water, that's a short, and then when you don't shoot the water, that's a long. I think we're going to grab... Do we want to grab Deadly Aim right away? I guess let's pick up Triple Bolt. Having another electric attack is probably a good idea. And then Ice Missile's fine. Eagle Eye's not very good. Bear Traps are also just fine. I'm a little bit more excited about those than I am about Eagle Eye, but we're not that far off of maxing out and getting our Wolf. Okay, so here's the thing. This guy wants me to go up to the top and tell a lady bandit that he is a total sap. Listen, don't be afraid to be a total sap. It turns out it works. Anybody who tells you that the way to woo a romantic partner is through like game and nonsense is trying to manipulate you in order to get a hold of your money, they do not have any interest in helping you. Fox Star, the aggressive bomber, what bombs at midnight? Get out of there, buddy. Alright, he managed to narrowly avoid an explosion that probably would not have actually harmed him. Partially because he's very high level, but also, I imagine, partially because he's water? Like, how would a bomb even... I guess hydrostatic shock is a thing, but... I don't know, we probably shouldn't try to get too much into the science of the water elemental, because we're going to hit some unanswerable questions fairly quickly on that one, I think. Alright, I think this area is maybe already... there's a little bit of stuff going on north of him. You know what? We mapped it well enough. I'm not going all the way back over there. That sounds like a lot of work. Alright, this place is 3 floors, if I'm remembering correctly? You would think at some point some of this information would enter my mind in a way that would, like, have it stay there. I was trying to help, I swear. I know that looked like I was being really lazy and just letting him do all the work. But I swear to you, I would have shot that bandit if there was any way to do so. Alright, I'm not going to jump in the lava for that stuff. And yes, indeed, 3 floors. Now remember, we only need to clear the top floor for the job point reward. I guess let's just get to that part right now. Probably shouldn't just walk up to the angry sword wielder. That's bound to get you into some kind of trouble. I used the flask as much for the pet as I did for ourselves. And then realized immediately that that was a very silly thing to do and that he was going to be fine. You know, I saw our little friend fighting that champion, and I just thought, oh god, I can't let anything bad happen to him on my watch. I'll never live it down. Okay, let us... I think we're just going to finish this one area here, and we're pretty much done with it. And then, here's your letter. Deliver your response. Sure, I don't have anything important to do. I'm not trying to save the world here or anything. Okay, let's We should be pretty close to done with the fly. Yeah, I was going to say, I'm kind of surprised that the message hasn't popped yet. There we go. 191 job points. That is a pretty good reward. So we've actually gotten a ton of job points like very, very quickly here. Also, some Java beans. If I can remember how to make coffee, we could take that back to Tsukita. I don't remember what she gives us, but celestial magic medicine? That's gotta be good, right? The word magic is right there in it. And nothing magical has ever been harmful. Okay. Hey, Bizo. Good news. It's the thing that always happens. Please immediately give me your crossbow that I definitely will not use. Actually, I might. Hold on. We'll consider that. My bow's not actually that good. Also, I guess we should check this area out while we're here. So after all, with me being such a defender of love and everything, how could I possibly leave an area without murdering everybody in it? That'd just be irresponsible. Alright, let's head back to town real quick. Jump up and down on these stairs until we teleport home. It's a very safe thing to do. In the ancient ruins, ooh, that's a pretty good reward. That's a lot of job points. All right, I'll take it even though it's not super convenient for us to get to. Retrieve Applecan's apple can. Okay, I'll do that. It's a purple item. I don't know if I remember that one. Okay, I think that's some pretty good direction for tomorrow's episode. Oh wait, hold on. Let's spend some of these job points. We didn't quite put together enough for deadly aim. You know, blood tracking is good too. So we are 300, we are 900, or rather 813 job points away from class mastery, and then we can consider doing some class trials and stuff. And we're going to try really, really hard not to die in any stupid ways. But that's really a tomorrow kind of concern, because for today, we are all out of time. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope that you are not all, as a group, as frustrated by my deaths as I am. If you are, I apologize. But also, don't be mean to people in the comments about it. Come back next time, tomorrow, for progress and survival. Both of those things, for real. And we'll see you then.